How to start a charity. 10 proven steps for philanthropic startup success. This video is for you if you got a burning passion deep inside and want to do something that will make a real difference in this world. Do you want to help fund cancer research, save the Galapagos tortoises, support after-school activities in your neighborhood, or do anything else your altruistic mood may fancy? If yes, check out our tips to start a nonprofit and maybe build a legacy for yourself and future generations. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of the Awesome Sweetie Kiwi Show. I'm very happy to have you today. I hope you are doing fantastic. I'm doing marvelous. If you are doing as great as I am, go grab a cup of coffee or tea or vodka and let's roll. Today I want to talk to you about how to start a charity and 10 proven steps for philanthropic startup success. Number 1, formulate a vision and mission. Now, a vision is generally an inspiration and aspirational destination on the horizon. That's the dream that you have, right? A vision doesn't need to have quantitative measures, but it should have descriptions of what you want to create. The mission is more concrete. It is a clear description of the purpose and the intent of your nonprofit. It has to be very short too, though. You want to put what your organization does, for whom, and what is the basic service it is espousing. Now, missions should be complemented with specific, measurable, achievable, and challenging goals. Now, in marketing, you have something called SMART. It's specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Also, you should develop a set of values, the beacon by which your organization will be led. After formulating a vision and a mission, you want to pick a name. Now, remember that a charity is an organization by design, but you require philanthropy for support. In other words, you want people to donate to you, right? Now, names that are descriptive are always preferred. You want the name to describe the function of the organization. For example, the American Cancer Society. Many successful organizations are named for people. I mean, you have the Jimmy Carter Foundation, you have the Susan G. Komen for the Cure. This names of organizations in memory of specific people, but with the mission to help others, may encourage donation. Make sure that you choose a name because this is a name that resonates with the donors also. This is a critical element here. You want to select something that is easier to remember so your donors have no trouble finding you. Because the last thing you want is people start asking themselves what kind of name you have. No, you also need to make sure that your name is completely unique. So you can go to your states or to the Department of Commerce to have a list of existing nonprofits to make sure your name isn't taken. Or you can go to the Department of Commerce to ensure a business hasn't already trademarked the name you're thinking of. 3, you need to differentiate your charity. That's the third step. According to the National Center for Charitable Statistics, the NCCS, there are over 1.5 million nonprofit organizations in the United States. Many organizations compete with one another for funding to support the same cause. So you have to really set yourself apart. You have to set your organization apart and hopefully foster some kind of movement around your organization and stimulate the same kind of passion in potential donors to your charity that you have for it yourself. Fourth element here, register as a 501c3. Folks, this is important. Now, 501c3 is the IRS code that allows you to operate as a nonprofit tax-exempt organization. So in this case, if you have no knack for anything tax related, be sure to talk to a lawyer or an accountant with nonprofit experience so that you can file the proper paperwork and find out the steps to register and operate so you don't run afoul with government rules, right? The good thing here is that all the information can be found on the internet. So you can go to the IRS website. We have the link on the screen right now. So it's www.irs.gov/charities-non-profits/exempt-organization-types. If you go to that website, to that page, you have all the info. You also have an info about what qualifies as a nonprofit, what kind of category your nonprofit should be in to receive the coveted 501c3. So your organization should be one of 5 different categories. At least one should be in one of those. Charitable organizations. So organizations organized and operated exclusively for religious, charitable, scientific, testing for public safety, literary, educational, or other specific purposes, and that meet certain other requirements. Number 2, churches and religious organizations. So churches and religious organizations like synagogues, mosques, temples, they may qualify for exemptions from federal income tax under Section 501c3. Private foundations. Every organization that qualifies for tax-exempt status under Section 501c3 is also classified as a private foundation unless it meets one of the exemptions listed in Section 509A. We have another show dedicated that will cover 509A. So I'm not going to go in details here. So private foundations typically have a single major source of funding, usually gifts from one family or a corporation, rather than funding from many sources, and most have as their primary activity the making of grants to other charitable organizations and to individuals, rather than the direct operations of charitable programs. If you have a political organization, this could also qualify. Now, a political organization subject to Section 527 is a party, committee, association, fund, or other organization, whether or not incorporated, organized and operated primarily for the purpose of directly or indirectly accepting contributions or making expenditures, or both, for an exempt function. And the last category is other nonprofits. Now, other organizations that meet specified requirements may qualify for exemption under subsection other than 501c3. This includes social welfare organizations, civic leagues, social clubs, labor organizations, and business leagues. I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of Sweetie Kiwi. We are also having a conversation here around how to start a charity. I'm giving you 10 proven steps for a philanthropic startup success. Number 5, write a plan. You already have a vision, a mission, you have a name, you are able to differentiate yourself. Now you need to have a plan. You need to lay out a 5-year or a 3-year plan, strategic plan that allows you to raise money, that allows you to market yourself, to market your organization, to make people know you, to make donors know you. You have to communicate around the cause you have embraced. You need to think about operational strategies. You need to think about budgeting. You need to think about hiring people, right? Because you need talent. You need talent to run the organization. Now, at this juncture, it is very important to enlist the help of a professional. There are some templates on the internet when it comes to nonprofit plan. Those are not called business plan. They are similar to business plans, but they're not called business plans. They're called strategic plans, or they're called philanthropic plans. And this, you can download either a template or you can hire someone to help you write that. Number 6, start your website. You can talk about everything is great it's great if you write everything on paper, but we live in the age of the digital. You want folks to know about your organization. You want everybody to know about the great work you will be doing. Have a website. These days it's getting even cheaper. You can hire people on some platforms. You can hire a freelancer web designer on a website such as Fiverr, and they will do great work. Or you can, even if you have a knack for all things technological yourself, you can just download a WordPress template and set up a website yourself. Now, your website is the cornerstone of your marketing strategy. It is your window to the world when it comes to explaining your mission and get people excited about your work. Okay? Number 7, start raising money. If you have a charity, You gotta raise money, unless you are a foundation, in which case someone wealthy has already bequeathed wealth onto you. But if you don't have the cash, you need to raise money. And your first fundraiser will help you get your name out into the community and give you some kind of leverage, will give you some much needed cash to start your operation. Whether you want to try a single fundraising event or multiple fundraising events within the same month, it is very important to have the right strategy. And the strategy has to be both offline and online, right? You need to follow the right target. People who care about your cause, people who care about your actions, people who have given to similar organizations in the past. There are several ways. This is the purview of another show that we will be doing, but you got to start raising money ASAP. Don't delay that phase. Number 8, you want to establish an advisory board. You want to be very, very, very careful about this one. You want to be careful and very thorough about people you're bringing on board. You want to bring people who have significant nonprofit experience, including financial and fundraising experience, who can help you launch your organization. Ideally, those folks should be available real time as resources to you and should meet more formally weekly or monthly until operations are established. The mistake that a lot of startup nonprofits do make is that they meet on a quarterly basis. They don't meet as often. See, when the nonprofit is in its emergent phase, in its baby phase, you need to meet as you want the folks, the core group, to meet as often as possible. So once the charity is up and running, the board should be expanded to include significant donors, potential donors, and people with significant fundraising contacts, right? Be careful not to let the board get too big. You want the nonprofit experts say that a good board should be around 8, between 6 and 10. That's the sweet spot you want to be in, because a good board size for mature charity is around 20 individuals. But for a startup, you don't want 20 individuals. And now if you get it, you're lucky, which means you're no longer a small startup. You're no longer a small nonprofit. You're a biggie now. But as a small nonprofit, you want to be around between 6 and 10. 8 is perfect. I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of Sweetie Kiwi. We are also having a conversation today around how to start a charity. I'm giving you 10 proven steps for philanthropic startup success. And if you love the clarity and quality of the content so far, please consider subscribing to our channel and turn on the notification bell so you can be informed whenever we drop a new show. And we do this every single day, rain or shine. Comment below, share this content, and like it. Give it a big thumbs up. Really appreciate that. Begin operations and stay lean. As once you have the board, you start raising money, you have a website, you want to start operating and be lean. Lean is very important. Being lean is important. Now, a good rule of thumb is that nonprofits should spend 80% or more on program expenditures and 20% or less on administration and fundraising. The last thing you want is people start seeing that you are spending more money on admin and fundraising than on the causes for which you have sought the money in the first place, right? So you got to be lean. You have to think about productivity. If you need to get some software, if you need to use software, go ahead and use those. Anything you can do. When it comes to management, you have to think about the right people, hiring people with experience. Either they are full-time or part-time, right? Because you need to save some cash also, and try to nurture a good team. And run the organization, not a company here. You want to run the organization, the nonprofit as a company. When it comes to productivity, when it comes to reaching your marketing goals, your fundraising goals, when it comes to creating a workplace environment that is positive, that is conducive to employee development. Those are things that are important for the long-term success of your company. So that's of your organization. I keep saying this again. It has to be a charity, not company. So for the long-term success of your charity, you want to have certain pillars, right? When it comes to talent management, when it comes to cash management, when it comes to marketing management. Number 10, and this step is quintessential. You want to do collabs with other nonprofits. You need to collaborate with other charities. And you can do so through various ways. You can do so through charity networks, through professional networks. In other words, you, the founder, or you, the founders of the charity, should network with other founders. You need to go to networking event. You can also collaborate with nonprofits that embrace the same cause as you. You can seek grants from private and government agencies and foundations. And you can launch your first fundraising event. I mean, the big one, not the small one, the big one. All right. Thank you so much for listening to me. And to kind of recap today's conversation, how to start a charity, 10 proven steps for philanthropic startup success. Number 1, formulate a vision and mission. Pick a name. Differentiate your charity. Register as a 501c3. Write an operating plan. Start your website. Start raising money. Establish an advisory board. Begin operations and stay lean. Collaborate with other nonprofits. Now, before I end, let me give you a quick pro tip here. You want to be patient. Be patient when it comes to starting a charity and seeing it progress. Hopefully you want to help the maximum number of people possible, but you won't be able to help for long unless you engineer your organization for longevity. That means what? It means, for instance, expanding only at a rate that is supported by your fundraising. So you take your time. Every organization started somewhere, but they are what they are today through discipline. Remember that when it comes to philanthropic success, survival is key. And survival requires patience and discipline, right? Rule number 1 for starting anything is that you have to have a passion for what you're doing. Because after all, startup nonprofits are a lot of work. There'll be times when you question your sanity for having tried this, and it will be the passion that carries you through. This is the passion. The passion will translate into discipline and resilience at hard moments. So it is unwise, therefore, for you to start anything with a goal of fortune or fame, even nonprofits, especially nonprofits. So expect to invest significant amounts of time, passion, and money with great satisfaction as the only rewards, right? So pour yourself into your passion and create a legacy that will help you not only help yourself, but also help others. Thank you for listening to today's conversation. I really appreciate it. I will see you next time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.